And we are live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, South Florida. Hello, world. I am Robert Henderson Jr., President, Founder, CEO of the Henderson Financial Group. Joining me live, my brother from another mother, the one and only, the famous James T. Thomas. How you doing, my brother?
I'm wonderful, Rob. It's a wonderful day. It's a great Saturday. And just as we did for Mother's Day, just going to give a shout out to the fathers because, it's never the same, but just give a shout out to the father. And we cool with that. Are we cool with that, Robert? We don't have
man,
all the celebratory activities, that we gave for Mother's Day. Hey, just keep on loving us, keep on serving us. And, hey, we'll be just fine because we're going to keep on serving everybody else.
That's what we do, man. We came from the creator, so we must create. We must continue to create. Woo. God is good. Hey, James, I'm excited about some guests we have today.
Look out.
Oh, man, we got Brother Hillman and we got Brother Ted, man. They got some exciting stuff to let us know. Information, man, is key, man, and so many people just don't know. Like, I didn't know that. I know that. But, we are about promoting, inspiring, letting people know that there's a better way, letting people be all they could be, let them know that there's always help out there. But you got to do what, James? You got to ask,
seek, and knock.
You got to do that. Can't say I didn't know. So we got a lot of soldiers out there, some good brothers out there that really, really help push it in the wagon. We're gonna talk to them a little, probably in the next 5 minutes. We'll bring them on because they got a project that's that I think everybody should know about, and I think that we should spread the news. I know these guys; these are good guys, man. I mean, these are good guys, so everything they touch is gonna prosper. And but I know in South Florida they don't really look at the people of color as being, pioneers or doing things. But boy, I tell you, we got some stuff in store, man. We got some good stuff coming up. We're gonna bring it to you. And together we stand, divided we fall. But we gonna stand.
Robert, earlier we were talking about how so often we find ourselves being called to step out of this place of comfort, and you don't have to have all the answers, As a matter of fact, all you have to do is truly be obedient, So if you step out and you're stepping out for the right purpose and to serve others, you can't miss. And when I was looking at the program that they have scheduled, others are looking for people to give them, quote unquote, a hand up, and an opportunity to say, sometimes all you really need is for someone to say, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you, and to network with others who have ideas. Because Rob, we all have a vision, whether we suppress it or whether we express it, is really left up to us. But God has given us all a gift. And when I saw the program that was set up and I saw some of the people speaking about how they felt about the program that we're going to be talking with these gentlemen about, hey, I was excited because, hey, I too can learn. we never get too smart to learn. So,
yes.
And the more we learn, the more we earn, and the more we earn, the more we share.
Yeah, man, that's some good stuff. I've taken 2 AI classes, man. I've been on this thing, man. I'm a master of this AI. My AI gonna be my butler, man. you talking about Siri, man. My AI gonna be my butler, man. I'm asking everything. I'm gonna be a prompt master. I was at one workshop, man. This brother was in Hollywood. This guy was saying, listen, you got 1 year. He says you got 1 year that you could lose your job. So you got to understand the effects and how the world is changing with technology and AI. He said 1 year. Now, it's not so, I don't want people to be afraid that, you're dead in 1 year. The thing is, you don't have to be afraid of artificial intelligence and AI. You got to know how to use it. If you know how to use it, then you become valuable. It's like if you don't know how to use a pencil, or if you don't know how to drive, you don't know how to drive, man. You just study driving a horse, you're gonna be in trouble because horses going out. You can't be putting a horse on I-95. You got to learn how to drive a car or take driving school. That's what AI is metaphorically. You got to learn how to use the tools that's available to us. And a lot of people say, man, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. You're going to be left behind because this thing ain't stopping for nobody. And these two brothers right here, man, they're on the cusp of this thing. They really trying to warn you and tell you. You remember, hey, James, I just thought about the scriptures of what I was saying. When the guy was saying the kingdom of God is upon you, you know what I mean? You better get right. You better get ready. You know what I mean? You know, no, the dude was trying to warn you. The Savior come. He said, "Listen, y'all better get ready." You know,
Rob, they are still talking about, well, when I die, I'm going to heaven. You didn't read that properly. You don't have to die to go to heaven. He said, "Heaven, the kingdom of heaven is here." So, Rob, I'm living heavenly right now.
John the Baptist kept telling them, it's coming. John the Baptist kept coming. And like, what are you talking about? So these two guys are telling you it's coming. You got to get involved. There's a lot of people doing something, but there's people that's not doing nothing. Hey, Parnell, what's happening? Parnell Victor, my brother. I see Norvik jumping on. Okay, let's bring them on, man, because I want them to introduce themselves. Well, we introduce them, but I want them to tell the audience, because we got people all over the country, out of the country, listening to this. And this is, thank God, this is on Facebook Live, and it's also on YouTube. So it's going to be up forever. You can always go back, and if you miss it, and I want y'all to share it. So let's bring them in. Helen Lee, I see the gang falling in. Let's come in. Let's bring Mr. Ted Lucas in. Mr. Ted Lucas, how you doing, brother?
I'm blessed. How y'all doing today?
Good. And you got Brother Hellman. How you doing, brother?
Fantastic. How y'all brothers doing? You got me fired up this morning.
Man. Every morning. Hey, brother Hellman, I tell them every day is the best day of my life until midnight. And then at midnight, it's the next day.
It's all over again.
Hey, every day is a better day, man. You guys look great. You guys look great, Robert.
Yeah. Okay, listen, and I've been knowing Ted, man. I've been dealing with Ted man. We've been having an association, man, for 30 years, over 30 years, man. I know his family. Matter of fact, I went to his wedding. We've been knowing each other. But I know that now. So Ted, I want you to tell everybody about you, how you got started, what you in, and then Brother Hellman, man. I know if you Ted with you, Ted don't mess with no junk. Ted will find out soon. Ted be like, okay, you look like you good, but this ain't nothing. So you've been hanging with Ted partner with you. I'm telling you, he done checked out. He done went to the high on you, Hellman. He done went to God and say, God, let me know.
That's the truth,
man. That's the truth. You can try to fool Ted once, but hey, you ain't gonna fool him again.
That's right.
You got that right.
That's true.
So then I want to hear about you, Brother Hellman, so you can tell our audience also. So Ted, tell me, man, because you Slip and Slide Records. Tell me about Ted. First, tell us how you Slip and Slide Records and how you segue also into this new technology world that you feel that we got to know. John the Baptist, we got to know what's going on. Tell us about that.
Definitely. Like you said, man, started Slip and Slide Records over 30 years ago, man. It's crazy how time flies. You know, I still feel like I'm 25. It's hard to me to believe that time don't flew by that fast, man. Like when I started the music business, I didn't know nothing about it. It's funny, man. I remember, James, I can say this now, so I'm going to say it. I remember going up to the radio station to meet James T. And you know what I heard in the streets? You need to have a bag of money with you, man. We go up to the radio station, right? I went up to the radio station with a briefcase. He didn't know what was in the briefcase, Rob. James didn't even know. I was just waiting for them to tell me how much they gonna charge to play the record. I didn't know. That ain't how it worked, brother. It don't work like that. You got to get out of here. This was on 37th Avenue. Take you back. 37th Avenue, next to the Palmetto Expressway. And I came to get a the first artist I ever had, New Vibe. That's the name of the artist, man. And you played the record. And you had a music day, and you played the record. And you're like, man, you got to go do this, fix that. I'm like, man, this ain't what people told me how this thing worked. They told me, come to the station, have your money ready, and this how it worked. So I watched too many movies back in the day. I didn't know that's how it worked, but I had to learn the music business. But now, 30 years later, man, been blessed and fortunate to help some household names like Trick Daddy, Trina, Rick Ross, Plows, and allow them to be household names. And I tell everybody, God has blessed me to be in a position to make some musicians millionaires. But now it's time at this point in my life to make millionaires in the business world. Young women and men, surround myself around billionaires. Me and Hillman in our office, we have a sign that when you walk in, this is a place where millionaires and billionaires meet on a regular basis. that's what we're here to do. Being born and raised here in South Florida, man, I did some great things in the music, but I heard you gentlemen talking earlier. Every day you get up, man, you got to learn and start all over again, man. If I ain't learning something new, I look like I'm dying. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. If I'm not doing nothing to continue to grow and get better every day, I feel like I'm just sitting here dying and wasting time. And God has blessed me to be in a situation where I can impact some young men and young women lives here in South Florida. And that's what I'm getting up to do on a regular basis, man, to just pass this knowledge on to the next people and make sure they understand. I'm sitting home in the middle of the pandemic, y'all. And y'all hear about this big tech boom that's happening in Miami. And you see what's going on. Now, you can be crazy and just sit there with your mask on and see this thing passing away. I woke up one day in the middle of the pandemic, man, and took that mask off and said, man, I'm going to put this mask on. I get big down. I went to the city of Miami, knocked on the door, didn't know Mayor Francis Suarez or nothing, but the staff knew me. And they're like, Ted, what are you doing? Like, I want to meet with the mayor. I hear he got a tweet out about how can he help people from all around the world. Sent a billboard in San Francisco. How can I help? I asked the mayor, I say, how can you help us? And he said to me, Ted, you the first Black person that came to me and said, how can you help our local community to get involved in tech? And ever since then, man, I didn't know nothing about tech, but I had to learn. And I got off my couch and went down there, and I started going out to different tech events and speaking and talking and learning. And over that period of time, Art Basel, probably like 2 years ago, I was speaking at a tech event, and I was on stage, and I let Hillman go into details about that. And Hillman was in the crowd. And I told people, if you're in tech and you look like me and you ain't making an impact in this community, I hate to tell you, but you fake. And I'm just telling the truth. You got your situation straight. You sitting over here at Brickell, and you sitting on Miami Beach and doing all this, but it's some Black people on the other side of the bridge that need that knowledge, brother. There's some Black people on the other side of the bridge that need that knowledge, my sister. And I had some good brothers and sisters that surrounded themselves around me. And ever since then, man, we've been building this tech ecosystem. At Florida Memorial, we got a tech sales course that's going on. And me and Hillman to get into details of that. We got Tech Tuesdays at the Center of Black Innovation. We opened up an office, man. I ain't never in my life thought I'd be one of those guys that got an office at downtown Miami, overlooking downtown. Get out the car and you got to park in the garage and walk to your office. I seen this in the movies, man. I ain't not no boy from the Baja is gonna be doing this, man.
From the hood, right?
I get up and I walk to my office from the garage, you know, and and get in my office and I pray, man, and ask God just to, you know, give me that wisdom and knowledge for the day, man. I can keep going, y'all. You know, I'm excited. I'm passionate about my people in Miami, but I'm gonna let Hillman explain a little bit about himself as well.
Yes, Brother Hillman.
Yes,
You saw,
yes,
hey,
sir.
Brother Hillman, you saw Ted on that stage, man. What did you say? Who is this dude, huh?
Man, you know what's funny about that? I had moved here I had been here about 2 months before I saw Ted on stage. And it's interesting because I did not know who he was because I wasn't from here. You know, I was a West Coast hip hop guy. You know, we still go back and forth about that in the office. But
That's right.
So I didn't know who he was. He came out on stage, and it's funny. God is so good. I spent my career in San Francisco for 25 years. I grew up in Chicago, moved to San Francisco when I was about 27 years old, expressly to get into tech. I saw all these young people. None of them looked like me, but I saw all these young people making a whole lot of money doing this .com thing back in the day. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I can go get a little of that. So I went out there with a resume full of lies back in the day before people could Google you and figure out what you had done. And somebody gave me a shot at this company. I got into this sales gig in technology. And, you know, I can learn something. If you give me a shot, if you let me in the door, then, you know, the world is mine. I'll go figure it out. So I was fortunate enough to have some really good mentors in San Francisco and moved on up the chain really quickly in a couple companies, ended up becoming a chief revenue officer for 3 different technology companies that all had exits. So I was fortunate enough to be employee number 5 at one, employee number 7 at another. And then I was a co-founder of the 3rd one. And, you know, once you get a couple exits, that gives you, God blesses you with, you know, a nice little egg to do something with, right? So I sat on the sidelines, figuring out what I was going to do, and ended up making a whole lot of investments. Since then, you know, in the almost 17 years since then, I've invested in 117 angel investments, startup companies, had some exits there. But I wanted to stay in that sales realm and opened up a global go-to-market strategy firm. So I didn't really want to go to work for anybody anymore because truth be told, I'm really not a great employee. I'm a pretty good entrepreneur, but not a great employee. So I opened up this consulting firm, and I've been fortunate enough since that firm opened to work with folks that range from Salesforce to LinkedIn, SurveyMonkey, Box, Bill.com, Uber, Freshworks, the list goes on. And that's just by proximity in being in San Francisco, and, really got, in my mind, to the top of the game in that space. And, you get to a certain point in your life where it's like, well, what am I doing this for? Is it just for me and my family, or is there something greater that I can contribute? And that just started eating at me for probably about 3 or 4 years while I was in San Francisco. And I didn't have the opportunity or the network to plug into in San Francisco to really find our community and to really find, the next Hillman who didn't know anything about technology, but I could give this person a break and give this person my network and mentor somebody and put them in touch with people. And so I wanted to be somewhere where that could happen. Moved out to Florida with this in mind. This was kind of my goal. Didn't know anybody down here. My folks are from Jacksonville and Tallahassee, but came down to Miami because I like the beaches. And I decided to go to this event, this Art Basel event. Fortunately, Ted happened to be on stage, and he said it just like he said to y'all. He called out the folks in the audience. He said, look, if you're in tech and you're Black and you look like me and you call yourself an investor and we haven't sat down to talk about how we're going to impact this community, then you ain't about it. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Let me go find this. Right. So like I said, I'm a resourceful person. So I dug up Ted. It was moving into the holidays. So, he was doing his thing and I was trying to find him. We connected in January, sat down for lunch. I'll never forget that lunch. I don't even know if we ate, but we sat down and we talked for about an hour. And he said, so what are you about? What's your thing? And I said, look, man, and this goes back to something you said, Brother James. I said, I feel compelled at this point in my career to do something with what God has blessed me with, which is some resources, which is some knowledge, which is some expertise, and which is a little bit of the code of how this thing works. And I need to plug in. And I talked about how being in San Francisco from 1997 to whatever it was, 2022, how I saw folks like us get marginalized from communities. I saw all these beautiful communities in San Francisco end up homogenized with just tech people who make over 6 figures. I saw the rents go through the roof, and I saw a whole lot of people get displaced from their home. And I told him this, and I stand on this, and this is, the canary in the mine y'all were talking about earlier. It can happen here very easily. The invitation is great for economic reward, and there's nothing wrong with that. And we aren't trying to prevent it. We want to participate in it. There's a sign in our office. We have one of our, Ted mentioned another sign, but we have a lot of signs in our office because we want people to see our belief when you walk in and understand what we're about. We have a sign in our primary conference room. The conference room itself is called Good to Great. In that conference room, there's a quote from Earl Graves where it says, any entrepreneur can make money. The best make a difference. That's what we stand on every day. So every program we run, we sit and we say, what is the impact? What are we doing this for? Who are we serving with this goal? Who are we serving with this meeting? Who are we serving with this conversation? And if we can't align that to our mission, we leave it alone.
Wow, man. This is in divine order, Hillman. Let me tell you why. Because San Francisco has always been one of my favorite cities. And when I first went there for my birthday, I went back 4 times in a row. I mean, I just said, I would go there and I would see them streets just going up and down. I said, this is amazing. There's no other city in the country where the streets go up. Like, yeah, man. And I was there. I was saying streets from San Francisco. And I thought about Starsky and Hutch. I liked it so much. I told Ted, I said, Ted, him and his wife, you got to go to San Francisco with me. We went to San Francisco. We rented bike about 10 years ago. We rented bikes and we rode the whole San Francisco. We wanted to go. We rode bikes, James, Golden Gate Park, all the way across the Golden Gate Bridge, almost 2 miles.
Yep.
Me, Ted, my wife, and we was riding bicycle. And, it's so funny. That was 10 years ago. Hillman, we didn't know that you were there.
I was there, man. I wasn't on that bridge, though.
And it came full circle.
Right, man.
Yeah, Ted didn't tell you about that, man. That's how we went. And
that's right.
You were there, man. And all along, it was like it was meant to be. And you came down here, and now you're from San Francisco. So I'm really proud of you guys. So we got people listening all over. And when you say this tech tech. Tell me what do you mean by tech? Because tech is really vague. It's really broad, man. So how are you guys helping people? Are you helping people that want to get into tech, or you have people that have concepts and they're doing things and they're not telling anybody about it? Tell me, explain that.
Yes, yes, and yes. We are doing all of the above. It is all across the spectrum because you can't just help one. So Technology is our 501c3. And if someone is interested in upskilling, if someone is looking for a job, if someone is coming out of college, or they're looking at the newspaper saying, I wonder if I could do what I do except in a technology company, Technology is for you. We offer courses at Florida Memorial University, as well as at our downtown campus that Ted mentioned at our office downtown Miami, that are right now we're talking about B2B tech sales. We've graduated 118 people from that course, supported also by our sponsor, JP Morgan. And the goal there is to help people to get into tech jobs. We've had students graduate. We've had folks who have been in real estate who are like, I wonder if I could do sales and technology. They've graduated from courses like that. We've had folks who've come from completely different careers like Amazon come graduate from that tech course. So that is for people who are looking for jobs. And they're saying, I'd like to get involved in tech. We then also offer opportunities for folks who may have a small business. And you're hearing in the small business, I heard what you said, Brother Robert, earlier, how you're going to make tech your butler. You know what? Don't be afraid of tech. You now have employees. This is what I tell people. You can create yourself someone that's a coach, someone that, you know, does your menu planning. My wife does our menu plan for the week using ChatGPT. You create somebody that does your newsletter. You create somebody that answers your phone. All of this thing, if you learn it, you can make tech work for you. So we're working with small business owners to help them understand how to integrate technology into their companies for competitive differentiation, to increase revenue, increase bandwidth and productivity, those sorts of things. Then two more pieces here. We are working absolutely with folks who are innovators. There are some people who just have that creative spirit, who are entrepreneurial, who are wanting to get into technology because they see technology as a space, you know, true to this platform, where you can make a lot of money, legacy wealth, right? You can build a company that you can give to your kids, or build a company where you can exit and go on to do some other things. And we're working with folks to help them get access to capital to do that, as well as mentorship, training, and coaching to be able to understand how to build a business in technology. And then finally, you know, down here in South Florida, we had a lot of folks who've made their money in other asset classes. Maybe they made their money in real estate. Maybe they made their money in finance. Maybe they made their money and have retired from a job and are looking for a place that could give them an opportunity for investment. So we're working and coaching investors, angel investors like I've been and like Ted's been, to be able to understand how to invest in technology companies. And obviously we're working with the companies that we bring to the table to help them get investment. So we are all across that whole spectrum.
Man, it's a new world, man. It's like you know, the world is just have changed. I mean, and you guys are basically saying there's no stopping it. You have to get in, you have to get involved. I mean, should you fear because I think a lot of people when they don't understand, they fear it and they don't do anything. I know a lot of people of color. Why do you think that we have a fear? That's for lack of a good word. Why do you think that we're not running toward this industry? Is this confusion, or does it seem like it's so abstract? What do you think the problem is? Exposure? I mean, what do you think? Why? I would think that people,
yeah, I'll tell you a couple things. I'll tell you the first thing, and it's the first thing we do in that class that I mentioned through Technology. And it's something that we do at Tech Tuesdays every Tuesday at the Center for Black Innovation. Language. If you think of finance, right? There's a code to finance. You got to understand the acronyms. You got to understand what these words mean. Even simple things like gross and net. If you don't know what it means, it sounds scary. It sounds like something you want to get involved in. So language becomes a barrier. Technology is filled with acronyms. And think about this. It is constantly changing. You know, just the words ChatGPT weren't part of the vernacular 18 months ago. You know what I mean? So if you don't know the language, that naturally creates a barrier and creates an exclusivity. So one of the very first things that we do is we ensure that people understand that you know what we're talking about, because it's not complicated. It's just another word or something else that you're already familiar with. So if we can create that familiarity, that unlocks it for folks. And you'd be surprised when we go to Tech Tuesdays, we have speakers speak who are from the community, who are doing this work, and it's very approachable. The goal there is no matter where you are on your tech trajectory. I joke, I say, even if you can't spell AI, you need to walk in those doors because you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn today. You know what I mean? And folks take it down, and you can ask these questions in an environment that's safe, in an environment that's nurturing, with folks who you can continue the dialogue with. And that's what it's about. It's like, it's not just here's the information. It's here's an environment. Here are some people who are supporting your desire for growth. If you show up and raise a hand, you are going to be encircled with people who want to support you and help you to get to where you want to go. So I think that's part of it.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Let me add to that. That's one of the biggest things, man. You think about it. I tell everybody, when I first went to some of these tech gatherings, Rob and James, I was one of the only blacks in the room, man. I ain't seen nobody that look like me. And then when I did see somebody that looked like me, if he didn't give me that nod, he ain't like me. You know what I'm saying? So
I know exactly what you said. I know exactly.
I hit with that nod. He don't get that nod back. I say, nah, that ain't one of us right there. I get it.
He look like us, but he think like them, right?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like,
I've been there.
Yeah, you been there. You know what it is. It's funny. After they get to know who I am, Rob, they come back around. Hey, brother. I say, yeah, I know you, brother. I recognize you, brother. I know what it is. And man, listen, you started one of the most important things, man, is fear is the opposite of faith, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't move in fear, man. That's how the enemy keeps us from growing and keep us from becoming who we got the capability of being. If I would have listened to my third grade teacher, boy, I'd have never owned a record company. I ain't gonna lie to you, boy, because it wasn't no intern down here. It wasn't no record company I can go to and just sit and learn everything. It wasn't nothing but the grace of God that taught me. I didn't have a clue, y'all. I'm going to New York. Like I said, I came to James T. I didn't know what I was doing. I think Jerry Rushing as well, man. Jerry had me meet with Warlock Records. I never forget this, man. I met with Jerry Rushing, and he had introduced me at a card game. Him and Smitty introduced me to my distributor, Warlock Records. I ain't gonna lie, I was in one of them distribution deals that you had to go through. I had about 5 distribution companies. After I realized, after I signed the contract, I realized it was a distribution company with another distribution company. But listen, you got to pay your dues to get in the game, and it paid off. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, you learn.
I could have been feared. I had feared in, man. I'm like, no, it ain't gonna work. So I always been one of the ones, man. I'm a risk taker, man. I'm gonna go out here and find out what it is. I got to see how we can get it done, and I like to pass that on to the next generation, man. We can't move like that. So we set rooms, like Hillman just said. We put you in an environment where you feel comfortable seeing a young lady that raised over $3 million. How this young girl, 24 years old, Ariana Techie, raised over $3 million here in South Florida? She looked like you, so we want to put you in those kind of rooms and put you in them kind of environments so you see people that's doing it that make you want to do it as well.
So what is this Tech, Hillman, you were talking about Tech Tuesday. Tell our audience about Tech Tuesday. What is that?
Tech Tuesday is the event that we do every Tuesday at the Center for Black Innovation. Starts at 6 p.m., goes till 9 p.m. And it is, the format is, first hour is networking. You come in, you see some folks who've been there before. You'll be greeted if you have never been there before by our team. The Source is always there on the scene, as well as the folks from the Center for Black Innovation. At 7 o'clock, we kick off with a program. And the program is not a formal program, but it's specifically on our calendar. So this week coming up on Tuesday, we've got 2 women talking about pitching your business, which aligns with our Spark competition that's coming up in August. So it's what is an investor interested in hearing from you? Because if you've never been in those rooms, and if you aren't sitting next to folks all day long who've done this, you don't know. And you show up in a boardroom and investors expecting you to show up suited and booted doing what they want to see, and you're wasting that 30 minutes trying to figure it out, telling your life story. Well, that's not going to work. So they teach you, how does this work? The beauty of it is the first half hour or so is them talking about their experience, providing you some education. The next half hour is open questions. And let me tell you, those questions pour in, and the questions could be, well, what is a pitch? Why is it needed? To, I'm going to pitch somebody tomorrow. Help me. Here's my thoughts on how I'm going to talk about my competitors. What do you think? It could be just either level of those types of things. Then we go back after that for an hour of just free form discussion. A lot of the discussion takes place based upon the particular theme of the day, or folks just say, hey, you know, Ted wanted to talk to you, Hillman wanted to speak to you. A lot of times most of the times we are there, and folks come to us with their ideas, and we welcome that. But that's the format. We're there every week.
Wow. Now Tech Tuesday, where's it held at? Is it online or is it in person?
Center for Black Innovation, it is in person, because we think that those quality conversations happen in a different way when you can have them in person. And we do it every week intentionally at the Center for Black Innovation in Overtown. So
okay.
We do it intentionally with an ongoing cadence so that you know it's there. We know everybody can't come every week, but it is there when you want to. And here's what's interesting about that. What we find is that there are folks who started coming a year and a half ago who now are, you know, just like at church, they become the senior greeter, right? And they're over there welcoming people in and helping them get acclimated to their journey. And so it's a beautiful way that you can give back and you can take from, and it becomes, you know, it just helps our ecosystem all together.
You said the Center for Black Innovation?
That's correct.
Wow. Now, I'm sure that a lot of people that's listening and seeing this have never heard and didn't know that there was a Center for Black Innovation in Overtown.
That's another reason why we're there.
Yep.
Now,
Ted can give you a little history.
Yeah.
Give me the history of the Center for Black Innovation. Tell me about that, the location, and the people who are listening, they never heard of it.
Yeah, I know they heard of Jackson Soul Food in Overtown.
Yeah, they heard of that.
So you heard of Jackson Soul Food? We directly across the street from Jackson Soul Food in Overtown, man. It's two young, incredible people, man. Felicia Hatcher and Derek Hatcher, man. They opened up this place called the Center for Black Innovation. And I had went around in Overtown. Actually, did they know what the Center for Black Innovation was? There's a big old sign on the wall outside, say Center for Black Innovation. You ride by it every day, and people didn't know. People thought that's where, you know, you gonna get your tax return done at. They just didn't know what it was. It's behind Red Rooster, and it's directly across from Jackson Soul Food. Boy, if you know, people know how to go find that food. So you go to Red Rooster, it's behind Red Rooster. If you go to Jackson Soul Food, it's direct across the street. And we there, man. We're in the middle of the heart of Overtown, man. You know, we feel like that's the blessed place to be, to allow our people to know where they can come and meet with us. We didn't want to be on Miami Beach. We didn't want to be in Wynwood. We didn't want to be on Brickell somewhere. We wanted to be where people that look like us come and be around other people that look like them and hang out and talk about tech and get started.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, I was there. Me and Linda was there. We took a class from 9 to 12 on AI. It was beautiful, man. It was good. I felt so proud being there. When I came out of there, I felt like I had muscles, big muscles. I'm mental muscle, man.
Hey, Rob and Hillman, I've been sitting here listening, and it's just, I guess I'm the senior citizen in this group. But Rob, I remember when Ted came to the office, and what I did, I was on a panel with Donald Passman. I think it was in LA or someplace at one of these conferences. And Donald Passman at that time was managing Janet Jackson. And I was so impressed by him. When I got back to the station, I told Maestro, I said, hey, order a case of these books, because these people who come in here locally, I want them to know, you know, that it's called The Music Business.
That's
Understand? Hey, that was the book back then, Rob. And yes, didn't know Ted had a briefcase, but he knew I had that Bible on the table, so on my desk. So when he walked in, thinking that he had this bag, he was about to get a blessing. That was the bag he was gonna get. Because the fact was, and I may have even shared this with him, because I've shared it with others who have come in with that same idea. I said, man, don't go anywhere else and do this, because there are people who will have people waiting for you on the outside, you know, but understanding the business. Now, check this out. I've also had to call Brother Ted to ask him to help other young people who were seeking their way and knowing parents and things like that. But Felicia Hatcher, I'm right now in Delray Beach, upstairs in my office. When her father had his contractual business, I leased him space so that he could grow in this community. When Felicia Hatcher and her quote unquote husband started their business, I have a 3,000 square foot patio outside, and she came and she was setting up. They were going around the country in the Oscar Mayer truck. So I'm seeing these names of people who have now turned around and they are saying, I want to be a blessing. Because if God can send a blessing to you, it's only when he repeats it, if it can go through you so that others can be blessed by you. So I salute what you're doing. And now, of course, we also want to let them know that if they can get involved in the class or the classes that are provided, because I too went down, Rob, to one of the sessions that Felicia invited me to come down. Matter of fact, Felicia interned with me on radio as well. Yeah. And she's been, I think she's been to the White House and been honored for what they're doing in tech. So we are kings and queens created by the creator, not a creator, the creator. And we were created before he gave us dominion. He gave us his image and his character. So now if you are created by the creator, we are creators. And you might not be able to read it in the American history book, but it is written. It is written. And so to acknowledge this and to acknowledge what you're doing, we really need to find out how can others support you in your endeavor.
Yeah. I'm listening to you all. And James, as you were saying, it's amazing how we're here and all of us have something in common because we have this burning desire to continue to grow and create. We don't settle. And it's not just about money. It's a burning desire to create. And we do believe in just naturally, we believe in good, better, best, never let it rest until your good become your better and your better become your best. So we don't care where it is. We just feel that we have to create, share, and help. It's just something in you. That's when you know you belong to the Father. It's not a selfish thing. You feel like, hey man, there's more. I got to get this out. I got to tell people. I got to help. And it's the burning desire. And that's something that we all have in common. Tell us about, you guys got a contest, like $1 million contest coming up, man. I read that. And I want you guys to tell us what that's all about and how people can get involved. And I think that's fantastic. Tell us more about this contest. $1 million that you can win. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was about to say that's the lead right there. One of the things that we stand on is impact and bringing opportunities to South Florida, and there's no opportunity like this one that's happening this summer, August 19th through the 22nd. We have brought a competition here that is called the Startup Pitch Accelerator Regional Competition, or SPARK. Is easier acronym to remember it by, SPARK South Florida. The goal here is to afford an opportunity for South Florida to be able to participate in a competition that sends one person with an opportunity to win $1 million as an investment prize at a final competition in San Francisco. So here's how it works. We have applications open for technology companies and small businesses. We have 2 tracks this year. One is if you are a startup that is at seed stage or pre-seed stage, you do have to have a product that you're working on. You can apply for the technology track, which gives you that opportunity to win $1 million. We also have a new track this year that we just opened up that is for small businesses. So small businesses, local small businesses who are interested in pitching their business because they're innovative and they are trying to grow, they have a chance to win an investment prize from the source. From us directly here locally, investing in our local economy and in our local businesses. The process is that you submit your application by July 1st. You then, we have a selection committee that'll go through those applications and pick out the ones that are best. The top 40 of those applications will then have a chance to present in front of the general public August 21st at the Gale Hotel. You have a whole day with a table in front of you where you can talk about your business. We are going to be funneling through there VCs, investors, angel investors, community partners. We have a lot of political activists that are coming through that are working. I don't mean political activists, but some of the political organizations and communities that are here in South Florida to provide money and to provide resources to these organizations are going to be coming through working with these businesses. So you get a full day opportunity of that. You also get coaching from the source and our team of experts who have expertise in everything from finance to fundraising to product strategy to revenue strategy to sales to branding to PR and pitching, all of that. You get all of this as part of this process, and there is no cost to local participants. The only key is you got to be local. Everything that we do is for our local community. So if you are a local resident or a local business and you've got a local presence here, you are welcome to join, and you have this opportunity in front of you.
That is fantastic, man.
Always live, always local.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, that's what we do. Build where you're planted. Dr. Carter used to have this statement.
I know. So we got audience of all sizes, people that have businesses, and we have a lot of people all sizes. So is there a certain age? Learning a lot of this tech stuff, do you get middle-aged people, older people, or all young people, 20-some-year-olds?
Oh, no. Last year we had folks, I got to tell you, these were the most vast demographics I've seen. I told y'all I've been in tech for 25 years. The demographics, both from a gender perspective, from a business type perspective, we had folks on the tech track that were in fintech, health tech, blockchain, property tech, people who were doing things that were ecology oriented. The woman who won this competition last year actually was from a company called Sargassum Eco Lumber, which they take, all that sargassum that comes in off the water, they create a new wood for that, for using it as a building material, but there's a technology applied to that. So it does not have to be AI. It's just any application of technology as an innovation. And we had folks that ranged from, I think the most senior individual, at least the one who told me his age, he was 67. And the youngest person was 19. So I'm talking, it is the full spectrum. And this is the beauty of it. This is why this is so unique. A lot of people come down here, and we appreciate this, right? A lot of people come down here to visit. We've got other events that bring folks from Latin America to learn how to move into the United States, and that's fantastic. And then they go away. And then you got folks who come down here for Tech Month, which is April, and they want to party down in South Beach and do the thing, and then they go away. But we stay here. You know what I mean? And what's beautiful is that the fabric and the tapestry of people who live here is so rich and diverse, and we are solving such interesting problems that it is just fantastic to be able to support this community in the way that it deserves.
That's fantastic, man. I love that. I'm glad that you guys are on, that you're sharing this with us. I just want to get more people involved, man. I want you guys to even come back to be a part, because people didn't even know that this existed. I mean, because I'm finding, I'm a certified financial planner, and I have my own firm here, and I get clients from all walks of life, all background. There is so much that I would say the average Black person didn't even know you could make money doing. In other words, take, the fields. Most people think you got to be a firefighter or a school teacher, or a correctional officer, or a nurse. That's about it. You know what I mean? Or a lawyer or a doctor. When it comes to technology, man, and innovation, I think it's in our blood, in our DNA. But I think it's a sleeping giant and hasn't been awakened because we haven't really been exposed, or we don't know how to act. Like Ted said, he was the only person of color in that building, in that meeting. You know what I mean? Because he had this inquisitiveness about himself. I think a lot of people have it, but they just don't know where to turn, what to do, how to get there, who to ask. Because if you have a friend, most of your friends are not doing that. You know what I mean? So if you need to get with a group, and I'm so glad that you guys have formed this organization where they're here is help, so to speak. People like, I've been looking for this. I just didn't even know it existed in South Florida, because South Florida, it's a place where most people have governmental jobs. It's not like, Atlanta, Chicago, or even San Francisco. Most people want to, go to school, come back and get a government job, or some form of government job, and in terms of being individuality or have entrepreneurship, it's not known. Black people in South Florida is just not really known. You go to South Florida, there's entrepreneur thinking people. Most people think I just want a 9-to-5 job and get some benefits, get a 401k. You know what I mean? And you guys are basically changing that to say, no, you don't have to go with the status quo. You don't have to continue to just go here and get a job and work on a plantation. You can create, and we're going to show you how. We're going to show you that there is a place if you have that burning desire. You don't have to move from South Florida because this is like a plantation area. You guys here, you can actually create and stay here in Sunshine, Florida, and really evolve and be innovative. I mean, I just love it, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. It's not like you got to pay $50,000 to learn, right?
That's it.
Well, Rob, the one thing we haven't done is told people how can they get in touch with you guys to get more information. Now, when Robert sent me the information last evening, I went on to look at Spark, and of course, it's an acronym for at least I think it was 3 or 4 more other things. So yes. When people go on, how can they reach out to you? How can they really become connected? Is there a number they can call? And one of the things that I think we have been stuck on, because we've lost community in the sense of where we live. But if we will take advantage of what you're talking about with technology, community, we don't have to be in the same quote unquote neighborhood, on the same block, same street, because we can do what we're doing now. There's so many ways for us to connect for like-mindedness. When we are saying that, well, there's something, so often we say, what can you do for me? But no, there may be people out there that can do something to help Spark. So how can they get in touch so that they can reach out and learn more and give more?
Yes, absolutely. I'll give you two websites in just 1 second. I want to lay down just a quick challenge to what both of you were saying with respect to our perception of being outside of technology, or our perception of being a little bit removed and thinking first and foremost about a job. First off, if folks have not read that book by Robert Kiyosaki, that's probably 30 years old now, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, go get it. So you understand what entrepreneurship's all about. That's one basic thing, right? A second thing is, even if you are working a job, you have probably said to yourself, there's got to be an easier way to do this thing that I do every day. Or I can't stand doing this one thing that takes up 20% of my time. This is how technology, programs, and software gets built. Is somebody saying, this is a problem, let me fix it. And I know even if we are working jobs that are not technology related, we are solving problems all day long because we are creative people and we know how to do that. So just start identifying those problems. The third thing is, as you walk around all day long with this thing in your hand, every time you click one of those little beautiful looking little icons, remember to yourself, somebody's making money. And I want you to start thinking about, how are they making money? How is this platform right now, with the 4 of us sitting on here having a live stream talking about this stuff, making money on the fact that we're on this platform? As you hang up and then you go to Yelp and decide where you're going to go to get your car washed, how is this Yelp platform making money? Start thinking about it, because when you put your mindset in that same realm, you're going to find a way you can make money too. And once you find that way, then you're going to go to thesourcegroups.com, thesourcegroups.com, and you're going to click on that link at the bottom that says contact, and you're going to get in contact with us. And you will be in contact with us. Our staff knows we get folks in the office all day, every day, pitching us on ideas, looking for ways to invest, looking for ways to participate. That's the first way. If that Spark competition, if you're one of those people who might need $1 million, I don't know, somebody might know somebody like that, then go to sparksouthflorida.com, SPARC southflorida.com. There's a countdown timer there that'll probably tell you got about 16 days left to get your application in, but we're going to support you with that too, because we have 3 meetups where we're working with people to help them fill out their application. There is no excuse. There's something you said earlier, James. I wish you'd repeat it. It ends with knock, but it was ask. What was it?
Seek, and knock. Ask, seek, and knock.
Ask, seek, and knock. If you want that $1 million, ask, seek, and knock your way. We are here for you to help enable you to understand how you can participate.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that. So, I mean, you just said so. So if I have an idea and I think, hey, it could be a better way, I need to build an app for that. If I don't know how to build an app, you guys can help me?
We got you. Absolutely.
Oh man. That's just
Rob, I remember when Felicia and Felicia Hatcher and a group of young brothers, they went down to Oswald Park in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, this was years back. And they were teaching young kids about coding. I mean, so they have, there's such richness out there for us to introduce our children to, that they will pick up easily. The adults, we fear, well, if I hit the wrong button, will this thing explode? But I remember, Rob, when we were on one of our trips, and my brother-in-law Scott Malone brought up perplexity, and he said, "Man, you guys got you got to get with this. You got to."
Yeah, he sure did. We was eating dinner. We was eating dinner. He was excited about it. I downloaded it right then.
You know, there's so much out there that we cannot see and we do not know. But because you can't see it or you don't know it, does not mean it does not exist. Because before we came on the air, Rob and I was talking about on June 24th last year in Chicago, Johnny Taylor Jr.
Right.
You've seen him on TV with Sherm. He's
Right.
I think CEO of Sherm, but he was talking to about 26,000 HR people at an expo, and he was saying how within the next 6 to 10 years, over 9 million jobs are just going to totally disappear.
Yep.
Because of technology. So for all of us or any of us to sit here and wait for something to happen to force us to have to find another way, why not exercise that option today and start investigating of, wait a minute, what that thing I dreamt of doing, that thing I envisioned of doing when I was, hey, come on, how can I find a different way to not just create wealth for me and my family, but because I think success comes through service for me. Yeah, absolutely. Because God, I live on that principle that God gives. He said, give and it shall be given unto you. So brothers, as you guys are giving unto us and to all those listening today, and if they check it out at a later date, hey, I pray that you continue to grow and receive so that you can even expand what you're doing to a point that those people that you bring success to, that they can come back and contribute to what your efforts are.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
TheSourceGroup.com. Boy, that's something you got to remember. The source. I like that. Who came with that? The source. That's creative.
There's only one. There's only one, Rob.
That's only one.
You know we heard to that name.
Ted, tell them. I used to tell at my job, I said, whoa, you guys are not my source.
That's right.
There's only one that has
it all comes from him. He the only one can do it.
SOVEREIGNTY. Only one has sovereignty. I don't care how many people you put in that house, the outhouse, another house, or your house. They
right.
don't have sovereignty as that creator, man.
Man, that is absolute. That is the truth. The source group.com. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, y'all can remember that. You got to remember that. If you ever tapped into the source, if you depend on the source, then you know the sourcegroup.com. You can't forget that. And the other one that I really like is the Center for Black Innovation. Man, I made me think about George Washington Carver. So he said the Center for Black Innovation. That's some good stuff, man. Right there in Overtown. You know, I mean, you gotta ask, seek, and knock, man. You brothers are doing some fantastic things, man. And I mean, we're gonna support you any way we could. You know, I mean, we give to organizations that are doing great things. So you guys are on our list in terms of us giving and trying to support, man. We'll support you every way we possibly can. You can come back on here when you have other events, and we will have you talk about what's going on, just to stay in contact with the people. Because a lot of people, you know, they into, you know, Netflix and, you know, watching sports, but this is stuff right here that we need to learn that's going to help our everyday lives, keep us in touch with what's really going on, elevation, evolving. Because if you don't get involved in what's really going on in reality, man, you're going to be left behind, man. And I applaud you guys for saying, hey, you know, this group of people, we're gonna let you know that this is the new Underground Railroad. You know, this is the new Underground. If you want to get to the promised land, you got to get on this track, man. So I can't thank you all enough, Ted Hillman, for what you all do. I want our audience to be able to tap in to call you, and it's Tech Tuesday. That's every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday. Center for Black Innovation. If you go to thesourcegroups.com, we have a calendar there as well. So you'll see what the specific theme is for each Tuesday.
Oh, man, I love that. I love that. All right, gentlemen, we're not going to keep you too long. Go to the calendar and look at that. and people can learn. You come as you are, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Come as you are.
It's a beautiful. Hey, Rob, as a matter of fact, I think it was one of the meetings I brought before the Cookie Man, Wally Amos. He was in town, and I think I came to an event that they had there at the event, and I brought Wally because Wally and I have been friends for years. Of course, he is since deceased, but and even at that time, he was not as strong in his presentation as he could have been. But just to hear from someone who could tell you how all that he had, he gave it away. Most people say he lost it. No, he gave it away because of not knowing. And often, Rob, you and I, we talk here, Hillman and Ted, on our program about the people in our community not knowing what they have. They just think that it's grandma's house, she paid for it, we're still here, we're going to take care of her. But what is the value? Robert uses the phrase, hey, there's riches in the walls. Right. There's riches in the dirt. And why do you think other people are constantly asking you, do you want to sell? What's your price? And of course, if they can see what we can't see, then we should be doing what Hillman said. We should be asking, seeking, and knocking. What do I have here, Mr. Henderson? What do I have, Mr. Hillman, Mr. Ted? Help me out. What can I do with this that I have that will help me to help my family and to help others? And I think when we get to that, I was meeting with one of the councilmen recently here in Delray Beach. And I told him when he asked, could we meet? I said, let's make the meeting based on how do we handle this? All of a sudden now we're not fighting one another. What we're doing is we're teaming up to say, how can we come together? How can we handle this? So, hey, brothers, I pray that as you continue to do what you do, others will come to you and say, how can we even do more? What can we do? As Robert has says, what can we do to help you to do more? So one of the things, as you get closer to that date, that deadline, you need to come back and say, hey, we're just days away from the deadline, folks. We don't have to spend an hour to tell them, but here's your last opportunity. Or did you call that number? Or did you go to source? Or did you get in touch with us? So let's keep that going so that we can continue to grow our communities.
And before you go, I like stories. Y'all gotta tell us about, giving an example of a story we didn't even know, how y'all help the business or innovation or someone who's doing something that we didn't even know that they were doing it. You got a story how somebody came to your office and what y'all working on, and y'all help them, and what great things they're doing. A Black company. You follow me?
Got it. You want me to? I think this.
Go ahead, Ted.
It's a young man out of Miami Gardens. He lives over about the Lake Stevens area. Grew up in Miami Gardens. He came to me about renting tennis shoes, y'all. You hear what I just told you? Renting people your shoes. You know them shoes you probably paid $200-300 for. You wore them once or twice, or you don't wear them that much. Well,
right.
Rent a Furniture is called Rent a Shoe now. They got a company. It's called. It's a company called Wear. Young man out of Miami Gardens created a company called Wear. His shoe line, and what he does is you be able to put your shoes up on his app. And Robert, you can rent your shoes out. That shoe can make you thousands of dollars, man. I got a couple pair of shoes up there. I see my bank account just going every day. You know, somebody don't pay $60 to wear the shoes. Somebody just pay. And if you damage the shoe, you keep the shoe. So you put a security deposit up. Somebody want to wear these nice pair of Jordan that rarely got, that they want to wear to a party. All right, you can rent the shoes from him at Wear. And Rob, he don't raise millions of dollars before, and now he on the second round again. And Hillman can get into details of how much money he don't raise, but just helping a young man out of Miami Gardens with an idea of renting tennis shoes. When I heard this, I'm like, no way this worked. I can't believe this. He sat down with me and showed me how many people around the world are renting tennis shoes from him on a daily basis. And Hillman, you might add a little bit to that as well.
Let me just ask a question. Let me just ask you two brothers a question. If you heard that story, you heard what the company does, technology company that does this, right? He started this company 3 years ago. What do you think his gross revenues are right now? How much money do you think he's making annually right now?
I have no clue.
I don't know. Let's say, $25,000 a year.
That sounds about right. Try $5 million.
Whoa!
Yes.
$5 million company.
Off. He came up with the idea to rent tennis shoes. So
Yeah.
I could put my tennis shoes that I wore one time. I got so hold on. Hold on, man. Hold on. That right there just taking us all back. I know the audience is so. That was an idea that y'all helped bring to fruition, and this guy is bringing in $5 million a year for renting sneakers.
Now, see how difficult it is for you to even get those words out, right? Think of the folks who he was trying to pitch this idea to, who said, "Man, that's some silly mess there," right? No, this brother came to Ted. Ted said, "Yo, okay, I see that, and we can actually help make it happen." So here we are. Support
you saw that, Ted?
Rob, people stand in lines in the snow to buy some shoes. People sell a pair of shoes they buy for $200. They turn around and sell it for $1,000. The same shoe that was $200 a month ago. I can see that a mile away. If people are gonna stand and spend 24 hours outside of a store to buy a pair of shoes, they definitely will rent some shoes. I seen that a mile away.
Wow.
Yep.
And now so like you could put a pair of shoes. You can go buy a brand new pair of shoes and give it to this guy and put it on his website, and somebody will rent it.
Yes.
Let me tell y'all something. This is a very important point. As incredulous as y'all are about this idea, I was in San Francisco when Garrett Camp and Travis Kalanick started this little company to try to find a way to get taxis better. And they're running around talking about all these people driving these cars empty in the back. Why don't we just let them pick up somebody on the way to wherever they're going and then drop that person off? That person will pay them. People were like, "Are you kidding me? They're going to get robbed. Ain't nobody getting in somebody's random personal car. I don't want some fool sitting in the back of my ride. Are you kidding me? Uber." Yep. How about this one? I know what I'm going to do. I got a room in my house. I'm going to put it online and just let a stranger come stay in it for a couple days every weekend to help pay my rent in San Francisco because rent's so expensive. Airbnb, the most preposterous ideas, when given that spark of ignition, have an opportunity for success. This is what we're here to do. We're here to find them.
That is incredible.
Yep.
That is incredible, man. Let me go look at my closet, look at my soap, my bathroom.
You know?
Hey, Rob, they don't want those kids.
How you call me out like that, bro?
Well, hey, Converse kids. You know,
I want the pro kids. Get the pro
kids. That wasn't directed at you, Rob. That was directed at someone listening to you.
I forgive you, brother. I forgive you, brother. I know you love me. I know we love.
No.
Man, that is incredible. You know.
Rob, but see, Rob, what you well, I have, and I've got younger kids and nephews. I can remember when my nephew came to Florida vacationing. Won't call his name because his dad was posted up there, but he came to Florida and they went out to line up, as they said, to line up because only a few quote unquote type shoes were going to be sold, and they didn't ask price. Price was going to be irrelevant.
Yeah.
You know, you had to be able to get one. And people were fighting to get quote unquote this at this store to get this shoe.
Yep.
So that's where many thoughts are. But
so this is the kind of stuff that y'all do. Now that really is innovative.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Well, see,
Can
Rob.
Can I just share one more thing? I'm sorry.
Sure.
I know
Go ahead.
got some time here. And you realize we do this all day long, right? This is why it's so much fun. And we are so blessed to be able to get up and do this every day. The Source Media Group is working with folks who are podcasting. Podcasting has become a huge vehicle for our community. And I don't care if you're talking about sports. I don't care if you're doing gossip. I don't care if you're talking about music. I don't care if you're talking about business and finance, whatever it might be. You do not have to have a massive audience to be able to make money from your podcast. If you have anybody paying attention, and if you are imparting some content that is of value to some community, wherever that community may be, we want to hear from you, because this is something that we see as a huge opportunity for folks to really create either additional income through passive income, or this could just be your thing. You could move from whatever you're doing during the day and focus on this thing you love that you end up doing at night or on the weekends.
Wow, you know, me and James were just talking about that because we seen James sent me an article about Walmart is opening up podcast centers. Can you believe that?
In Walmart in Carolina, I got a text here, and I told Rob when we started these studios in Miami Lakes and the one here, hey, Doc.
Oh, we got to talk, y'all.
If Walmart could see it coming and they're putting it in their store, you know they've done the research.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
That is amazing. That is amazing. Yeah. Hey, we got to talk some more, y'all. We got to talk some more.
Hey, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, because Rob, as we always close out here, gentlemen, unless you got something else, Rob, you tell me when we're ready for prayer, because I want Ted and Hillman to be on with this, because I got something special.
All right, we're ready for prayer. Let's go.
Oh, you ready for prayer? Okay.
Yeah.
But before we do prayer, I want this to be said. 2 are better off than 1, because together they can work more effectively. If one of them falls down, the other can help him up. But if someone is alone and falls, it's just too bad, because there's no one to help him. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. And then, of course, God, thank you for creating us to need each other. The moment you have given us to enlist someone else to help us, the pressure to give, it starts dissipating and the temptation starts weakening. That's the best way for us to show love to our neighbor. And yes, God, you told us that we should love our neighbor as ourselves. Would you please bless the source? Would you please continue to bless us so that we may give? And all those who will hear this, may they be blessed so that the blessing can go to them and through them, so that others will be blessed and you will be glorified. And that came from Mr. Ted Lucas, who says, if God brings it to you, he will bring you through.
Yes.
Happy moments, praise God. Difficult moments, seek God. And of course, quiet moments, worship God. And painful moments, trust God. And every moment, what we going to do, brother Ted? Thank God.
Give him the glory. That's it, God. Thank you, Lord.
I had now that's not James T. That's what I get daily from Brother Ted Lucas.
That's right. God is awesome, boy.
I love you, brother.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, love y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Too, man. Y'all be blessed, man. Y'all truly blessed this morning.
Such a blessing to be with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Yeah, happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to y'all.
Exactly. All right.
Bye-bye. All right.
Okay. All right.
And